What's up? Good morning. Zachy Force Funk in the house. I hope you guys are all doing well. Just came on here today to start my content that we're supposed to be doing. As an artist, in 2025, you got to do content more than just music and art. So I figured I'd start telling stories about the things that I witnessed growing up on the Mexican-American border south of Tucson, which we call the Frontera. Stories about kingpins and the history of drug running in Arizona, southern Arizona, my involvement, my friends, and just how life is on the Mexican-American border. And I figured I'd start with a story that would probably catch everyone's attention first. It's a crazy story, probably the most violent situation to ever happen in southern Arizona and northern Mexico. It happened to me when I remember witnessing it, at least in March and April of 1989. I was 14, 15 years old. And I was getting into drugs at that time. I was a freshman in high school. And I'll get into that in other episodes and tell you stories of that later on. But during this time, I was almost 15 years old. And they had found 8 people murdered in Tucson, Arizona, and 12 murdered in Agua Prieta, Mexico, which is on the border with Douglas, Arizona. It's basically on the Arizona-Mexican border. 20 people got killed over the course of a week and a half, or a couple weeks, I guess you could say. And no one knew at the time, but they were all related. You see a couple 100 pounds of weed and a bunch of cocaine went missing. A shipment of drugs went missing on the border of Arizona and Mexico. And there was a man by the name of Tombstone, Hector Fragoso, who was a contract killer who went all around the world killing people for the cartels. And he lived in Agua Prieta, and his brother was a chief of police in Douglas, Arizona, and his cousin was the police chief in Agua Prieta. And he had a trailer on the west side of Tucson, Arizona, where he frequented it. So this guy, Hector Fragoso, he was hired to go find out by somebody who dropped all the drugs. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to find out. So at first he went to Tucson, got 5 men, tortured, gagged them, stabbed them to death, tortured them. They were found in a shed in South Tucson on Mission Road in late March of 1989. 3 days later, on the east side of Tucson, 3 men were found with gunshots and torturing as well. Again, at the time, we didn't know if they were connected, but they were. That was Hector Fragoso going in Tucson and torturing and killing 8 people, trying to find out who did it. And then a few weeks later, it came out all over the fucking news, man. This shit got crazy. Maybe some of you guys forgot about it. Maybe people in Arizona maybe fucking forgot about it. You can go look it up, though. I mean, I remember it vividly. They had found 12 people in a well in Agua Prieta, Mexico, right there on the Douglas border, Arizona border with Douglas. And they found out that it was Hector Fragoso. What he had did is he found somebody who knew something. Brought him over to the ranch in Agua Prieta, tortured him. And that dude finally gave up a name. He gave up some name. So he was changed up to like a fucking shower rod in a fucking barn, like a big ass iron rod. And they hung him there like from the fucking rafters and shit after they tortured him. And so they left him there while they went to go grab somebody else. When they brought that person back over to the barn, they tortured him, beat him. That person gave up a name. So they hung up that dude. So now, they kept going one by one by one. Finally, they had 12 fucking people hung up by the fucking rafters in this fucking barn after torturing them. 9 men and 3 women. And finally they found the dude. One of them was the dudes who ripped it off or had something to do with it. So they wanted to make an example out of him, and they beat him to death in front of all the other, 12 other people. And then his friends were like, yo, you just fucking killed this person with these witnesses. We can't let them go. So they brought out video equipment and recorded themselves torturing and killing the 12 other people. Again, one of the women was pregnant, and they got filmed, beating the women to death in the stomach. Just really, truly horrific, evil, disgusting shit, man. But, shit's very, very, very fucking common on the border and shit like that. So anyway, they fucking found this fucking shit. One of the guys got escaped. Like, apparently there was 2 other people in the house that were being tortured and kept hostage for a completely different fucking situation that Hector, one of them got out. They escaped and went to the police. And that's when the police went there. Hector Fragoso, I guess, found out Arizona and hid out in a trailer just west of Tucson, Arizona, while they were pulling up all these bodies out of the well. I guess apparently, they didn't know it was 12. They thought it was just one person. They pull this thing out of the well, the next body would float up in the well. They'd pull that body out, the next body would float up. It was fucking insane. So they finally found Hector Fragoso on the west side of Tucson, a couple weeks later, and they arrested him. Brought him back to Mexico. They tried him. He got 30 years in prison, but apparently he gets out on the weekends and he gets out on holidays. He gets to do pretty much whatever he wants to this day. This shit happened 30 years ago. He might be fucking free right now. Again, his brother was the police chief in Douglas, Arizona on one side. On the other side in Agua Prieta, Mexico, his cousin was the police chief. So everyone knew who El Tombstone was, Hector Fragoso. I don't know where he is now, but you know what I'm saying? This is how life was on the border. You had to watch your ass. You still have to watch your ass. I'll tell some fucking crazy ass stories about what happened to me, stories that my friends have told, stories that I've read about, some of the folklore. Shit's crazy interesting. Yeah, shit's fucking nuts, man. That's why I write about these type of things in my songs. Again, a lot of people here in LA or around the world don't really know what it's like to live on the border or close to the border of Mexico on the American side. Big shout out to all the border towns that I'm who probably know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? El Paso, Nogales, Agua Prieta, Naco. And that's it, man. Again, so stay tuned. I'll be talking about some crazy shit. Zachy Force Funk. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at YouTube. Zachy Force Funk 187 on YouTube. And stay tuned, man. I love you guys. Peace and love. Catch me soon. Peace.